Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Rundown, where we talk about 2A news and conservative views. I will be your host today, Craig DeLuz, coming at you from the West Coast, the left coast, behind the Iron Curtain, otherwise known as the Sierras. But as we all know, I do not do this program by myself.
That's right. My name is Mike P. Waworski, coming to you live from the East Coast. That's the coast with the most, from the co-host with the most. Here on the Rundown, 2A views, conservative news, and Craig, do you know what today is?
Oh, yes, I do.
Guess what day it is? Guess what day it is? Who's ready?
Throw Punch Thursday, bitch.
That's right. Today's Throat Punch Thursday, and we're going to have a good time. Mike, how are we doing today?
Yeah, it's going all right. We're working our way towards the weekend. It's a gradual incline, but we're making it.
Excellent. Well, I, like you, am looking forward to having a very good time this weekend. So we shall see. My weekend is actually going to be starting, well, not long after we're off this program, to be honest with you.
You getting thrown out of the house?
Kind of, yeah. But it's intentional.
Gotcha. All right.
It's all part of the plan.
That's right. You're having a house party at your place on Saturday. That's right. I forgot.
That's right. Exactly. Folks are gonna come over and clean the garage for me while I'm out having a good time.
Absolutely. That's right on the list of things I'll do.
Yeah, fly out to California and clean my garage. I doubt it, but
Yep.
you know, man can always have dreams.
That's right. My dream is to spend time in your garage.
All right, let's get ready to get into the program today. But before we do what we do, and we're going to give a quick shout out to our sponsors.
Yep, let's say hi to our friends at Hitman Industries. That's hitmanindustries.net. If you want to get yourself an AR rifle, they've got rifle and pistol calibers available. Any length you desire for your next AR build or rebarrel your current AR platform. That's hitmanindustries.net. California Republican Assembly, fighting a good fight behind enemy lines. Now you could take part in California's future today. If you want the best in tactical concealed holsters on the market, get on over to Hog Holsters. That's HAWGholsters.com. Hogholsters.com. Use the discount code The Rundown, all one word, no spaces, all caps. Get yourself a nice little discount. And if you want the best in field gear, tactical gear, web gear, outdoor gear, whatever you need, you can get except for the gun at uscombatgear.com.
That's right, folks. Please take a moment, visit our sponsors. All you got to do is follow the link in the description to this program. All of the links to their websites are there. You can go there, check them out, spend some money with them, and make sure you tell them it was the guys over at the Rundown that sent you. Also want to encourage you, for those who are watching live on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitter, or on Rumble, do us a favor. Give us a comment. Let us know what's up. Let us know what you think about the content, about what we're talking about. Let us know what you have to think about it. And once again, we'd love to hear from you. Just please make sure and comment. Let us know what's up. All right.
Do that.
Today is going to be an interesting one. Now, I always kind of knew that this was a thing, right? I always knew and pretty much that, when they came out with that whole white dudes for Kamala or white dudes for Harris, I was looking at the men who were on there, and I kept thinking to myself, these seem like a whole bunch of beta males. I mean, they're not like guys that I would say are dudes. You know what I mean? I mean, Jeff Bridges was probably the only one you could look at and be like, okay, he was the dude. And that's really about it. But then come to find out, and then when I saw this, I had a different thing chosen as the main topic for today. But when I saw this video, I was like, yep, that pretty much explains it.
But they are doing so in trying to put forward male figures, Tim Walz being one of them, Doug Emhoff last night, who can speak to men out there who might not be the sort of testosterone-laden, gun-toting kind of guy who wants to listen to Hulk Hogan and the kind of players that came out at the RNC, or might want to listen to that, but also, in addition, understand that it's okay in 2024 to be a man comfortable in his own skin who supports a woman. And that's something that they really are trying to work on with male voters beyond the base.
Abby, we were talking.
Now, this has led to a plethora of comment and commentary regarding the DNC. And when you look at the folks who've been speaking, it's like, yeah. And so anyway, so it's been led to, this is a story out of Fox News. Dems mocked as low-T soy boys after CNN anchor says DNC appeals to opposite of testosterone-laden men. I don't know, Mike. I know they want to give her all the credit for pointing out the obvious, but that's pretty much what I've thought from everything I've seen, both in the campaign as well as at the convention.
Oh yeah, there's what are they calling them? Men's men? Is that what they calling them? Dudes, men's men, whatever. I don't know. It's just I would accurately portray it as the alphas seem to be drawn to the right, and the betas are definitely hanging out over there on the left. And she said, what is it? You don't have to be a real man to support a woman. I don't think it has anything to do with or giving a woman support. Right? That's how she said it. Giving support to a woman. Craig, do you not support the women in your life? I support the women in my life. I don't think that has anything to do with it. Now, if you consider yourself one of the women, maybe,
Well, it's literally like you said, I have no problem voting for a woman. I have a problem voting for someone who's incompetent. I have a problem voting for someone who advocates for policies that directly contradict my values. But that has nothing to do with whether or not they are a man or a woman. But what's funny here is that if you do not kowtow to what a woman tells you, if you try to talk to a woman, explain something to a woman, and you accept why are you mansplaining? And if you stand up against it and say, well, I'm not mansplaining anything, all of a sudden they got issues with you.
Yeah, I always feel weird when they object, and then you have to mansplaining to them, to make sure they understand it.
You have to mansplain. Exactly. It's like, look, let me tell you what mansplaining actually is.
That's right. That's right.
Look, honey.
Listen. Yep.
That's mansplaining. Yep. I don't do that.
Yep. Yeah, this is it's a weird one, but it's clearly that when you watch them, it's all the. I know he just passed away, but you expect Richard Simmons to come out on stage and start cheering with them. It's like that kind of nonsense.
You do. You most definitely do, and I'm like, I'm sorry, but for example, people who cry at convention speeches.
Anything. Yeah.
I'm sorry, but unless it is someone who is delivering or talking about a subject that is, someone I know that is talking about something near and dear to me, it would take a lot for me to get emotionally, if I'm not the one giving the speech about something that is emotional to me. But I'm like, really?
Yeah. Just the way it is. By the way, I mentioned Richard Simmons, definitely voting Democrat this year since he passed a few months ago.
Well, exactly. As my favorite joke is, I always say, the one thing I worry about, and I always tell my kids this: whatever you do when I die, don't let me start voting Democrat.
That's right. That's right, and it may not be up to you.
It may not be up to me. So I'm counting on my kids to have my back.
That's right. You'd be voting for the mayor of Chicago.
But if you think about this, if you think about the fact that, like, for example, a beta male believes that a father should have no say in, whether or not their child is actually born. And alpha male is like, look, I should have a say. I mean, beta males believe, well, men don't have vaginas and can't have babies, so they should have no say on whether or not abortion should be a constitutional right. Well, alpha male says, well, as long as I contributed to that child, yeah, I do have a say.
Yeah. Yeah. Never understood that point, but there's
Right.
the argument, but oh well.
Exactly. A beta male will say, well, of course, women can be men and men can be women, and there's absolutely no difference between the two. And an alpha male believes that, well, guess what? There's men and there's women. They're two different things, we are of the same species, but we are two very different creatures with each with benefits and challenges. And
Right.
we're not the same. We don't react to things the same. We don't have the same physical characteristics. And men are from Mars and women are from Venus, and all the other 72 genders are from Uranus.
That's right. They're Klingons out there on Uranus.
Anyway, that's what men believe. Anyway, all that having been said, it is not a new surprise. So just for those of you who've been watching, please make sure you can find that video on Twitter. Make sure to share that with all of your Democrat male friends. They'll love you for it.
Yeah, please do. Please do.
Please do. Please do. All right, moving on to our next story. And I'm doing it this way now because I realized that I didn't do a lot of the doubling down of my headlines. So I have to see what the next headline is. Next headline, Harris Biden official calls for the queering of nuclear weapons. Yeah, this one, folks, you guys are gonna love this one. Where's it at? Here we go. Put it right there. There we go. So Biden basically official calls for queering of nuclear weapons as a part of radical DEI agenda. It says here, first on Fox, a recent hire at the nuclear security wing of the Department of Energy has previously called for department policies which reduce or eliminate nuclear weapons, arguing that advancing queer theory was essential to that agenda as well as important to America's national security. The Biden-Harris administration announced Sina Nair, interesting name, had been appointed as special assistant at the National Nuclear Security Administration in February of 2024. Nair believes in eradicating purported white supremacy in the nuclear field, as well as queering nuclear weapons as a part of diversity, equity, and inclusion. Push she believes is essential to deterring threats to nuclear energy facilities in the U.S. Mike, I'm really trying to figure out. I'm really trying to figure out what this woman here is actually talking about. This makes absolutely no sense to me. When you say queering of nuclear weapons, do you have any idea, Mike, what that means?
Craig, are you talking about like clearing up the inventory? Like they're going to clear the inventory, put the old stock in the front and the new stock in the back? Are you clearing?
No, I'm
inventory?
talking about queering. Queering.
Clearing the inventory.
Like these weapons are fabulous.
So they're just going to be like painting them all sorts of rainbow colors and pink and stuff like that. And it's queering them up,
Queer them up.
Like I know guys in the Air Force and the Navy that hung bombs on airplanes, right? And I used to write little messages on them like, to Saddam with love, right? And maybe they're going to write like messages like, to Saddam, sorry for the things we've done for you. We really like the way you wear your hair. and your house just smells good. Like those
See,
kind
now
of
you're
messages.
assuming their gender, the nuclear weapons gender identity, though.
Well, I mean, you could call them whatever you want, but it's pretty clear what they are. They don't look like something for no reason, you know. Yeah.
Yeah, but you don't have to necessarily. Women have those too now.
Maybe in California, that's true. That's true. Yeah. What is the queering of nuclear weapons? What in the F is that?
Well, see, Mike, here's the problem. See, if we had been educated at an Ivy League school, we would understand. But we have not been educated into imbecility. So we don't get it. We're not smart enough to understand their stupidity.
That's I've read the story as well, and I just have not a clue what they're referring to when they say they're going to be queering up the nuclear arsenal.
I wish I could tell you, dude.
I
I really do wish I
know.
could tell you. But in the end, it's basically it's using the code words, and it's all about the neo-Marxism. That's what it's all about. It's all about taking control of the nukes for the neo-Marxists.
Yeah. Okay. That
Right.
must be it.
Sounds like a dumb idea to me.
Yeah. The dumbest today so far.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But anyway, but this is what happens when, once again, diversity, equity, and inclusion becomes your priority, not competence, not merit, right? Hiring the right people, putting the right people in the right places. That's what's most important, not DEI.
Yep. You're correct.
I know, but I'm also
Absolutely correct.
racist for saying it.
Well, we know you're racist, but you're allowed to be racist because you're black.
There you go. Yeah, I'm allowed to. You, on the other hand, watch yourself.
You're half black.
I'm
So
I'm
let's get that.
keeping an eye on you. Anyway. Oh, this is a good one. So the other day at a Trump rally, or yesterday at a Trump rally, an individual was having a hard time. He had fainted. Now they now when Trump goes places, he has this bulletproof shield that they put up in front of him in order to protect him. And Donald Trump actually went out from behind his bulletproof shield in order to kind of check on someone who had passed out at one of his events. Here, let me pull that video up and let you watch it real quick.
People sponsor people and they get what they get. But the worst is that what's wrong? Oh. A doctor, please. It is very hot here, I notice. It's very hot. And a lot of the people waited for days to get here, so I understand it. Take your time, doctor. Take your time. Thank you. Yeah. Take your time, please.
Now, Mike, this is a guy who came this close to losing his life, right? To dying, right? This is a guy who we found out today actually had another open active threat against his life. There's a manhunt going on right now. They're looking for this. They're looking for this guy who was supposed to be trying to take him out at an event he was doing in Arizona. This guy went out from behind the protection that was afforded to him in order to check on somebody. Now, say what you want about him and his mean tweets, but you can't say the man does not care.
Yeah, Craig, you're right. I mean, we're talking a month ago now, just over a month ago that he was almost lost his life. And he's worried about this woman. He's worried about this woman's health, wanders over there, tries to give her a little emotional support, and then goes back behind the glass. Listen, if there wasn't the Secret Service there, the glass wouldn't be there either. They put that stuff up. I'm sure they've got rules and restrictions. The threat's so high, he's got to be behind the glass, but can't make him stand in the same place for the whole time. So he's a genuine, caring person, and those that say he's a racist and a masochist and a homophobe are just telling lies. That's all they're doing is telling lies.
I mean, I get it. He can be kind of brash. I mean, he can be very New York, right? Sometimes in some of the things he says when he disagrees with you, but I just think that there are a lot of people who don't even know the man. And I don't claim to know him, but then at the same time, I don't demonize him either. When I look at, or even Democrats, I don't make a lot of personal comments or positions about Kamala Harris. I say she's wrong on a bunch of her policies. She's frigging wrong. And I point out when she's wrong. And I don't know. It just bothered me because when you're watching, you haven't been watching it, but I've been watching some of the speeches, in particular some of the major speeches at the Democratic convention, and they have mentioned Donald Trump's name more than they've mentioned Kamala Harris. And everything they say about him is either a lie or an insult.
Yeah.
It's one or the other. And when they talk about Kamala Harris, nothing but joy and excitement.
Joy.
First black
Joy.
woman. It's joy, happy joy. She's going to bring joy. I don't know how she's going to do it, but she's going to do it because she's a woman and she exudes joy.
Joy. Yeah, Donald Trump absolutely lives rent free in all their heads, Greg. It's their constant, and it's that fervorish. It's like the people that have the Trump derangement syndrome. They just how can he say these things? Oh,
It's true. I'm telling you, it literally. I think it was, and I know it always bothered them during the campaign, the 2016 campaign, but I think it broke half of the left when he got elected. I think they just broke. I just think they fell off of a TDS cliff, and they're never going to overcome it. It's kind of like, it's like herpes now for them. They're going to have it with them forever, like luggage.
Yeah. That's not necessarily true, but that's a whole nother story. But it's absolutely like he's in their head. He's in their head for free. It's unbelievable.
And I will tell you, that election night was the first time I was ever like, I really like Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Because he made my night. I remember I was at my brother's house. So it was like me and one other Republican were there. But it was all a bunch of liberals. And I'm just sitting up there watching them lose their minds as the returns come in. And then we're watching on TV as the folks on CNN and MSNBC are like, okay, well, we've lost this state, but over here, we might be able to come back if the people over on Sam Smith Court decide to vote for Hillary Clinton and they come in strong, she might have a chance at maybe winning. It was pandemonium.
Yeah, it was great to watch, though, right? We'd
I
seen all
loved
their
watching
protein.
it. It was
Yeah,
because these were some of the most smug. Hillary's gonna be president. Hillary's gonna be president. That was their attitude,
right.
and it was just nice to just see. No, no.
Yep. Yep.
Anyway, and truth
Which do
be
you prefer,
told,
Craig?
even
If
in
you had to,
2020, the polls were all wrong because the 2020 polls had Joe Biden spanking Donald Trump.
yeah,
And the truth is that he barely, where he in several states, he barely pulled out. And almost all of the polls, almost every single place where you saw the polls, they were a lot closer, or Donald Trump did a lot better than they had projected he would do.
yeah. No, very true. Very true. Yeah. You can't believe the polls. We know that now. Don't watch the
Well,
polls.
here's how you
Now the
have
polls
to
are
analyze the polls. I've just kind of come to this realization. You have to assume that the polls are going to be skewed to the left.
right.
Just assume it. And if you do
Yeah.
that, then even now, when you look at a lot of the polls that we're seeing, right now, it's a trip because at the DNC, the people who are doing some inside polling or some of the super PACs supporting Harris are saying the internal polling they're getting is a lot tighter than what we're seeing, than what most folks are seeing.
Yes.
Anyway,
Yes, very much so. And then again, like you said, they're going to skew them one way, and then they're going to. But I don't think as much as they used to. I think they realize the 20-point margin doesn't work in their favor. They've got to come back down to the close ones to try and get people to show up.
exactly. They got to get their folks to show up.
Yeah.
All right, this last story here I found to be once again really interesting. Trump worth much less than since he was elected president. Now, it's kind of funny because most people who get into politics aren't worth much of anything, and by the time they leave, they're millionaires. Just ask the Obamas, the Clintons, the Bidens, the Sanders. That's kind of usually how it works. But it hasn't quite worked out that well for Donald Trump. This here, according to CNN, it says here Donald Trump is a lot less rich today than he was when he was elected president. President Donald Trump said in October 2019 that being president is costing him money, lots of it. Quote, whether I lost $2 billion, $5 billion, or less, it doesn't make any difference, Trump said. I don't care. I'm doing this for the country. I'm doing it for the people. Well, he definitely cares, and now we know. Thanks to a new Forbes 400 list released Tuesday, now much less rich Trump is today than he was when he ran for and won the presidency in 2016. In 2016, Trump was worth $3.7 billion, according to Forbes. That dropped to $3.1 billion in 2017 and held there for 2018, 2019. But this year, Trump's net worth dropped to $2.5 billion. That's $600 million decline, led Trump to drop from 275th richest person in America in 2019 to 352nd richest person in 2020, a drop of 77 spots. It took a net worth of $2.1 billion to make the top 400. Now, you would think, Mike, that every single time they say, well, Donald Trump only cares about himself. Donald Trump only cares if it puts money in his pocket. If that's all he cared about, clearly based on these numbers, he would not be running for president.
No, absolutely not. Now, he's probably still got more money leaving office than the others do leaving office. But remember, the others came in with nothing, with zeros in their name. They came with a measly salary from their previous jobs. Now, more than minimum wage. They're lawyers and for the most part, and businessmen, but they had not millions and millions of dollars. Although, like you said, once they're in office and once they leave, all of a sudden they go from they were worth $100,000 before, and now they're worth $10 and $20 million. I get that there's some of that in the book deals, that they're going to get, but it ain't no $20 million worth of book money, folks. That's
no.
that's
Well,
that's a little bit more, pay for play kind of attitude. What you're getting there.
well, now one thing that I did want to make sure to point out. Now, this was an article that was from 2020 when he ran. So he's now added to his net wealth because, Truth Social actually added to his net wealth. So he's richer now than when he lost the election. But you can almost bet. I mean, he's also sacrificed a lot of money because, well, legal fees and penalties because, 91 criminal indictments, as well as numerous frivolous lawsuits, he's had to defend himself.
Yes, he will, and he may or may not make that money up. But you know what? He's got the kind of money where it doesn't matter either way. He can get it back. He can not get it back. He's still going to be Donald Trump.
Well, you know what? And it reminds me. It's kind of like he doesn't have Elon Musk money. But for him, it's like, look, he can afford, he'll give up hundreds of millions of dollars to do the right thing. Just like for Elon Musk, he spent several $billion to purchase a company that, is probably still hasn't even earned that money back yet. Hasn't earned its keep yet.
Yeah. No,
But
it is not. It is.
He's saving free speech.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's why it will.
Exactly. He believes that in particular, and I believe when God blesses you, he blesses you whether it's with skills, whether it's with talents, or whether it's with resources. He does so for a reason. And usually that reason has not a whole lot to do with you. It has to do with helping others.
Yep.
Anyway, appreciate the Don for doing what he does.
Big D.
All right, that then brings us to our parting shots. Parting shots are brought to you by Hog Holsters. Just go to hogholsters.com, use the discount code The Rundown, all caps, no spaces, and get your hog holster today. All right, our first one here is coming to us from the Babylon Bee, courtesy of the DNC. Oprah Winfrey was at the convention. Did you know that?
I did not watch any, but I saw what's her name on The View, and I figured it was about the same thing. Whoopi.
Yeah, it was. Man, I got to tell you, it was very interesting. She was, what's the word I'm looking for?
Annoying.
She was very annoying. I got to say, for
try.
70 years old, though, she looks better than most 70-year-olds. Better than I would expect a 70-year-old to look. We'll put it that way. Of course, when you have billions of dollars, I'm assuming that, that's when you have billions of dollars, I'm assuming you can pay to look however you want to look. But anyway,
that's right.
So Oprah surprises the DNC attendees with a free gift under each seat, their own illegal immigrant.
There you go. There's an illegal.
They did send a lot of them to Chicago, in case you're wondering.
Yeah, that's easy.
I know. The other thing that I wanted to note, Mike, was now the security there is very, very tight. They're making sure that you have the proper credentials. You have to have the proper credentials in order to be able to get into the convention. In fact, you got to make sure that you have a photo ID. And, well, it's kind of sad because black people were turned away in droves as Democrats require photo ID to enter the convention.
But that's racist.
Is it, though? Is it?
No, it's not. It's not. But every time somebody on the right says, this is the policy we need for, to make sure the bad guys don't come in, the response is always, oh, it's racist. It's unconstitutional. It's just get up. You go live in a bad neighborhood then.
Right. No, I always say this. I'm like, so wait a minute. So you're telling me that you're telling me the black people, they can find an ID to rent a car. They can find an ID to buy alcohol. They can find an ID in order to gamble or do whatever they want to do. But they can't get an ID in order to vote. Why am I not believing this?
Listen, I just want to be clear. Getting an ID so you can get alcohol, Craig. That might be a completely different ID. Just so you know.
Anyway, I love this one. Mike sent this one over to me, and I love it. And it's like, basically, it says, I'm going to tell my kids this is Tim Walz. And I'm like, my only problem is this guy's a little too beta male or alpha male for Tim Walz.
Conan, I'm not much of a reader. I don't know what the hell's going on up down there. You know, they get me, they put a wig on me, they kick me in the fanny and say, get out there and do it, dummy. I put a red nose and floppy shoes on, and I mean, look at me. I don't know what the hell I'm doing.
That's what Walz looks like coming out on stage too. So he gets all, look at me, I'm a crazy man.
I don't get the I mean, dude looks, I mean, for a guy who consistently wants to point out that JD Vance looks weird, the guy is like jumping up and down, waving his arms like, what?
Yeah. Got some news for you, buddy. It's you. It's you.
Anyway. All right, folks. Well, we're just about done. But before we go, we got one more thing we got to do. And you know what that is. And one more quick shout out to our sponsors.
Yep, that's right. Hitman Industries, hitmanindustries.net. You can get yourself AR barrels, rifle, pistol, caliber, any length you desire for your next AR project or rebarrel your current ARs. That's hitmanindustries.net. California Republican Assembly, fighting a good fight behind enemy lines. Now you can take part in California's future today. Get on over there, take a look at them, help them out. And if you want the best in concealed gear, tactical gear, web gear, survival gear, whatever gear you may need, you can get everything except the gun at uscombatgear.com.
That's right, folks. Once again, please take a moment, visit our sponsors by following the links in the description to this program. Spend some money with them and tell them that the guys over at The Rundown sent you. And with that, we're done for today. We appreciate you tuning in. We appreciate you liking and sharing the program and encouraging your friends to do the same. We will be back. Actually, I hate to say this, but we're not going to be back tomorrow because I got to head out of town. So we will be back on Monday, Fun Day, Gun Day. So y'all have a good weekend. And if you have a chance, send a few downrange. I'll let you later.
Hey, it's party at Craig's house Saturday night. See us there.